I am the assist, African support and strength, inspiration, and success together. As y'all can see, my right-hand sister, the queen, Nick, she not here right now. She might be ready to pull up. And then that means some people going to have to move. I'm sorry. I'm a little out of breath. As we ran in here, I was a little late. But that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm late because I be in the community working. I feel proud of myself because I just had a whole interview in my office with my daughter. I'm able to provide employment. That way you ain't got to give kids your money. You know, just being honest. Yeah, you're not getting nothing from me. Once you get this job, you is us. So, you know, I'm very excited today. I'm in a really good space. I have been, as my co-host was saying, for a long time. I feel aligned. You know what I'm saying? I'm being blessed in a lot of ways. I've been on a crying tour. You know what I'm saying? I might even cry today. You don't know, but it's all tears of joy. I have another returning guest here, and it was like somebody was talking about news and being. I had another reporter on here. Shout out to POC. And I was like, I know another. I know. Oh, see,
that's my sis.
Ain't that about a son of a?
That's my sis. I love her.
So I usually go on a tirade the first couple minutes of the show. I guess it ain't a tirade. I just be telling y'all how I feel. But what I will say is, Cornerstone Drop-In Center, 2321 North Broad Street. Shout out to Miss Marion, always creating opportunities. As she like to always say, creating a blank canvas and you do your own thing, and then she just come in and poke holes in your shit until you get it right. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that so much. And what we do is powered by Eddie's House. That's how I like to say it. So, and y'all know all the different things we got going on down there. We got after school program. We doing solar panel stuff with Swarthmore College. We doing a rocket challenge with Swarthmore College. We got math motivators down there. That's virtual math tutoring. I'm blessed to have an actual math teacher as one of my support staff when it comes to the after school program. Shout out to Barb. Shout out to Tashi. We doing agriculture. We got our compost set up and everything. So if you come by and it ain't smelling too good, that's the compost. We're very clean people. It's not stinking here. You know what I'm saying? People keep telling me I'm OCD. And I'm cool with that. Because OCD mean I'm clean. That's how I look at it. You know, I don't know how other people look at it. But we got the school district. I met a lot of the young women who are our case managers and they call community navigators. We're doing housing for the school district. So young people that the school pinpoints as being housing insecure. We have 4 young women, 25 and under, as the case managers, which I think is so dope. I know Miss Marion most likely did that on purpose. So shout out to her again. I was doing a restorative justice training today. We're a restorative justice hub. So if you want to get trained and be RCI certified trainer and facilitator in restorative practices and restorative justice, holla at your boy. If you got your organization, y'all want to have that certification at your business or organization, again, holla at your boy. I'll set it up and get y'all all certified and trained and have y'all crying during group and all that. The circles will make you cry and all that. But all jokes aside, it is something that if you look into it, everybody has it, but they're not utilizing it. So the school district has a restorative justice arm or office. The DA's office has one. The police precincts, they have them. I know you never hear about restorative justice when it comes to the cops, but they have restorative justice offices. And with us learning this, taking it from the ports to City Hall and not the other way, we can get them to utilize these offices more when it comes to mediations and stuff like that with our community, with our young folk. And it doesn't always have to be something negative, you know what I mean? It can also be formulate a plan for a block party or coming up with a community business. Or how do we thwart or reverse or get into gentrifying our own communities? You can use restorative circles because the operative word is restorative. And everything that you restore, it doesn't always have to be a negative thing. You can just improve it from one thing to it's creation. Again, at the end, it's creation. So shout out to my PAR team, because it's shout out to Dr. Wilson, Dr. Yasser Arafat Payne, Dr. Brooklyn Hitchens, you know what I'm saying? The principals on our participatory action research. I'm a research associate. We're researching gun violence, 16 to 24 years old. We want the young men and women that's in the mix. If you got gun charges, you carry a gun. A lot of young folks that I'm interviewing is telling me that they carrying on defense. They ain't even on offense. It's just they hearing about the violence. They be around the violence. The violence is in the music. So they feel like I have to carry. They don't want no trouble for real, though. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny because that same thing is being looked at by older generations and people outside of those communities as those young folks even being dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the PAR team. I want more and more people to be involved with this. The data is very important. I know we have this sister on here who controls the narrative that's very important for our people. But in order to tell a good narrative, you got to have accurate data. Or the narrative can be whatever you want it to be and make it up. And a lot of people are making up narratives about our community. So now that we are on the new front, we doing our own research, we writing our own surveys and interviews, we can go to people and demand, even though we can do that now, because the statistics and the history and all that proves our point about what's going on with our people. But, you know, for all those academic folks who try to act like they got all the answers because they're doing all the research, well, we doing our own research now too. So everybody that I know that wants to be down, Fathership Foundation, I'll let y'all know when the meetings are going on. I'll let y'all know how to get in contact with Dr. Wilson. And he'll definitely, if you want to help, we want this thing to be strong. We want our community to know the importance of data because it's people collecting data on our neighborhoods and creating their own narrative that's becoming policy, that's becoming law. Like right now, they're talking about gang activity in Philadelphia. And we all know that's not really a real thing because we don't have gangs as in gang structure of Bloods, Crips, GDs. Because there's law behind that. That ringleader charge that the Fed indicts on, that language is used in that law. It has to have a structure. We know most of our young men and women, they get together from neighborhood. And then they know a homie from school, he like hanging around their neighborhood, so now he a part of that. And then we use gang language because it's popular. But that shit is what they gonna start indicting our young folks behind. You understand what I'm saying? And it's gonna be way different than what it looked like when they was indicting us about drugs, because we talking about homicides. So if you think they was telling then, they gonna start telling on stuff they making stuff up on people. Because now you talking about you never coming home again as a part of this indictment. And they know that's going to happen as well. So we need to research what this neighborhood thing looked like as it pertains to having ops and 56th Street been long-standing beef with 60th Street and 5th Street and 7th Street. But that was never gang shit. 5th Street ain't a gang. 7th Street ain't a gang. Not in the way that we talk about, again, MS-13 and Bloods and Crips. But that's what's in the language, those structures. So if you let the DA's office start talking about gang this, gang that, and then we start saying the same thing, and then we already got the narrative that we scared of these young folks, and that's another thing I don't like. Stop saying you scared of these young people. I'm going to keep saying it. Because how they get like that? So I'm gonna stop it right there because I want this sister to, you know, be able to chime in, be able to tell me what she got going on, what's going on with my man Sammy, you know what I'm saying? Sam Malone. I ain't seen him in a minute, but that's my fault because I ain't been up here on days other than Tuesdays as much as I should be. And I need to jump on people, you know what I mean, situation. I need to party in this joint. You know what I'm saying? Because they party in here.
Absolutely.
But before I get too far into my thing, you know, please introduce yourself. You know, we don't introduce nobody. Nobody can introduce you like yourself.
No, I understand. Thank you, first of all, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here again. Always a pleasure. I'm Safia Warren Moore. I'm the editor and publisher of On the Scene magazine. I'm also the founder of On the Scene Notary, and also the co-host of Sipping with Sammy podcast. And like I said, it's a pleasure to be here. And you touched on a lot. A lot. I was taking notes, like, you know, about the gentrification, which is why I don't want to start off just getting in too deep, but, you know.
No, hold up. I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But one of the things that I'm trying to stop doing, myself included, is like shutting down conversations with certain catchwords because we at a point where we need to be deep. We need to be lecturing. We need to be preaching. You know, all the stuff people be like, oh, I don't want to get too. No, I want you to do that.
No, I'm going to get there, but I don't want to just go straight, sharp shooting. Like I was trying to ease my way into it. You know what I mean? But you already know how I speak.
Right,
so anytime if I'm having a conversation, it's going to be deep anyway.
Right.
But, you know, I just wanted to have opportunity, you know, to also introduce the
She
other,
alright, yo.
the
She
co-host.
alright.
But you spoke to gentrification, and that's why everything that I do, it revolves around helping people in some kind of way, and actually through information. So with the Positive Format magazine, and then the founder of the the Notary Public Service is helping through information. So I'm helping people in times when they really can't get other, like, well, pause. Let's start planning things. And now, because a lot of times I'm in situations where people like have to do this will, they have to do this power of attorney because somebody is sick, somebody's about to pass away, or whatever it is. But actually, it's really best in our interest if we start doing these plannings when we're in the best of health and the best of wealth, establishing trusts, and which is a whole nother conversation.
Yes, it is.
But it's
and we had somebody on here, Anisha Benelli. And she was talking about trust as far like with real estate and all that. Like it was a major jump, but my fault. Go
Absolutely, because what I was going to say is it's real estate and insurance are like two. It can be either the best of you or the worst of you. So if you plan for it properly, a lot of times if you remember hustling and bustling in North Philly, Ridge Avenue, West Philly, 52nd Street, all of these areas that are now gentrified and actually have some of the highest net worth and values in the city were owned and ran by our communities.
Yes, indeed.
Not even that long ago, not even as much as 20 years ago. And now a lot of us we have a minority of ownership in a lot of these areas. And a lot of it's because gentrification and people properly planned on how to pass their real estate or the things that they owned. I don't necessarily believe it would be the same way. So it's really important that we plan through real estate and insurance and wills.
So do you know, like, because I don't want to put you on the spot with this question right here. Do you know a good amount about trust? Because the question was by Rashida. Good looking, right? You watch the show when she on. You don't watch it any other time.
I had to get some people.
And when I holler, I'm gonna see. When I see you, don't be on here asking questions now. But I'm gonna take the question. I'm gonna talk to you though. So, is a living trust the same as a will?
No, actually, a living trust is for certain documents, but a will puts it says what you want to do in the place of you dying when you pass. So the will is when you pass, the living trust is when you're living.
Okay. But is it similar? Can you put instructions in the trust like
absolutely.
that? Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so that's what the similar I got.
Absolutely. But I don't know as much about trust. Yeah, trust is a whole nother thing that I'm not gonna misspeak about.
Okay.
I'm not gonna
lie. Listen. One thing my elder used to always tell me about our ancestors, like they didn't mind saying they didn't know.
No.
It's genius in saying that you don't know.
And
because if you say you don't know, you can find out. That's genius.
And you just said one resource was one of your former guests.
Right.
So that's a resource that we all have. We know that we can reach out to one of your former. I'm sure they'll be happy to.
No, definitely. And she's supposed to come back on the 3rd, as a matter of fact. So that would be dope. So you named. Did you change the name of the magazine? You did.
No.
You said something about positive.
No, because that's just the format. It's a positive platform format. So no, that's always been the niche.
But it's still On the Scene.
It's On the Scene magazine. Always will be. Always has been.
All right.
No, it's just I was just elaborating on the format that it's a positive platform format.
Black people gotta sit. Now I ain't gonna jump straight on this because my eyes is good today, so I can see. But black people gotta stick together. So I want to say something about that. It's correct. That is correct. But it's one of those overused things that we say to each other as a way not to come together. I'm being honest. I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm not saying it, but since you put it up there, yes sir. Who is yes sir? Can you please put who yes sir is if you don't mind? But it's kind of like I had a conversation earlier and a young woman said to me, we sold ourselves into slavery. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yes, that's true. But let's understand the context in which you say that and it's being promoted to you. It's just another way for you not to put blame on the people who did you wrong by saying we participated in something that they created and masterminded and it benefited them at a level that you not even seeing none of it. So yeah, it was some nefarious black folk. It's always going to be. But that doesn't take away from the systems that was created by the actual ops that put us in these effed up situations that we could tie directly to those systems. So I'm not saying that it's black folk that didn't do nefarious things, but do we need to be so much on that and not pay attention to what this was, what chattel slavery actually was, is, being enslaved is. Like, I just think that's one of those things that they put out there, and we get that information, and it makes it more divisive for us as people.
I feel like also the impact that it has today, or the impact that from so many years ago, how it has our people as a whole, again, us sticking together. Why is that even a thought process, right? Like, that shouldn't even, and it's funny because I actually was thinking about this today. My son, we live in a not predominantly black neighborhood, and he keeps going back and forth with another, African American black boy. And I'm like, I wanted to tell him, like, it's only a few of y'all there. Like, why are you arguing with him? Like, why do y'all keep fighting? Like, y'all need to understand that the grander scheme of things, y'all need to be sticking together. You know what I'm saying? So I absolutely understand the comment.
Right.
And I also understand that as a people as a whole, I don't think that it's acknowledged the impact that it still has today. Of course, many people speak to it, but it's a deeper impact. Like, it's such a deeper impact. Like,
and because I definitely don't want to miss this point. One, read a book called Powernomics.
Absolutely.
If you read that book, it'll give you a psychological breakdown on why we don't stick together. And one of those things, and it's actually a tangible material thing. Most people that we always name that stick together, they have two things that we don't have, that we fight to come together with. They have language and they have a flag. And wherever they go, that's what's going to hold them together. They fight just like we fight. They kill each other. They talk about all that. They rob. You usually do that to the people that's close proximity to you, which is usually people that look like you. But when they step into other places, what holds them together is a language and a flag. Even though my Latino brothers and sisters, and I know that it's Latinx now, right? It's Latinx, right? That's what that's it's not Latino. People don't appreciate that right now. And I don't mean no disrespect, but one of the things, even though Spanish is the slave master's language too, just like English, but they hold it as something that keeps them together. I don't care about the fact that it's the slave master's language. Spanish, wherever I go, I'll let you know that I'm Mexican. I speak Spanish. You know what I mean? I have the Mexican flag and I speak Spanish. And they have their own little twists and slangs and stuff that they've added to it over time that makes it, when you hear Mexican brothers and sisters speak Spanish, it sounds different than my Puerto Rican brothers and sisters. And it sounds different than my Dominican brothers and sisters. They all have their own little thing dialect to Spanish. But that's the thing that holds them together, that language and that flag. So that's when you say why black people don't stick together, that's one of the reasons. But then this is the other thing that goes with that too. Black people do stick together in a lot of ways, and we just don't acknowledge it. I said gangs, black press. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Sororities, fraternities. I can go on 100 black cops that care. We could go on and on to groups of black people who stick together. Methodists, you know what I'm saying? Baptists. I'm not saying that these is all the things that you may or may not agree with, but this is black people coming together. And the funny thing is, they have something that unifies them. When you see black Greeks, what unifies them? They color, they got their own kind of language, and they got a flag. And that's why they rock out together. Now, we could say how much do that do for black people overall, but I do have a lot of examples I can give you of black people sticking together. And when you talk about overall why we don't, because we don't have a language in. So, with that being said, since this is my daughter on the show, I think, is this your first time on the show?
Yeah.
This is the first time sitting up here on the show. Oh, all right. Her name is Sakile, not Jackie, for all of those people that's up there. Stop calling her Jackie. I wanted her to come on the show so I could say that. Her name is Sakile.
It's such a beautiful name, Sakile.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, it is.
So
but
beautiful.
Can you introduce yourself? Tell the people who you are.
I'm Sakile. I don't know what else.
What?
My job is not that interesting to tell people. So.
Okay. Well, talk about me. It's like, no. Nah.
He thinks he's the most important person in my life. I should say that. But
yes,
no.
I do. I own that. I own that as I start sweating.
I'm going to sit here and say it's beautiful to see this.
Yes,
this
it is.
Beautiful.
A young lady, we was at a restorative justice, and she came in because, Daddy is about to help her get employed, as I said, and she came to my job.
Of nepotism,
yeah,
for sure.
She came to my job, sat
it.
in my office, had to interview with my executive director. We was giggling and all this stuff, and I'm like, damn, this is dope. This is dope. Like, my daughter's in my office, trying to get a job, that she, you know, she told her, like, you did a great job on the interview. We're going to push you to the next stage. So she's going to get the job. We're going to be working closely together. And I'm like, I'm super hype about that, to be honest. But it was a young lady that I told her that was my daughter. And she was like, yo, I'm 25. Like, this is what my relationship with my father could be. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, you don't even really know us. It's just she walked in and I was like, damn, I got my daughter right there. And it immediately touched her. And that's the type of stuff I think we get that a lot, yo.
I don't think people believe that you my dad.
Yeah.
So.
That was her first joint. Like, that's your daughter? And I'm like, yeah, I'm about to be 45 in a couple days. I'm gonna keep telling y'all that because I do take gifts. It's February 1st. But
I just want to say it's beautiful because that's actually how I even got into press. My dad was the editor and publisher of a newspaper. His dad was the editor and publisher of a newspaper, and his dad was the editor and publisher of a newspaper. But the camaraderie and the relationship that you have, it just reminds me of what I have with my dad. So I just want to say it's something to cherish, and it's beautiful for both of you, the experience that you both have. So
yes.
And it's unfortunate that it's rare to see, but it's not unfortunate because I think it's just not highlighted because it's always happening every day. It's a lot of great fathers. Shout out to Chris back in the building because he's an amazing father as well.
This shout out to my brother right here. Let him know. Y'all a little bit. Let him know you in the building.
Yeah, so again, that's why I just want to say that's why it's important to have our own narrative and our own stories because I wanted to back up what I said because it's unfortunate it's not spoken about as much as it's actually happening. And I'm thankful and appreciative to have a platform that does speak to things of that nature.
Yes,
so,
and shout out to Took, man. I always give Took a shout.
Took
show a brother like me a lot of patience, bro, on a small type time. Y'all don't even know. He showed me a lot of patience, man, and I do appreciate it because it's another example of black folk. He was saying something, my bad.
No, I was just thinking about Took today. You're probably about to say what I was saying, but he's another example of black press and black media. Like Took is a ground layer for a lot of people. They don't even understand in the industry and what the industry from podcasting, from music, like from fashion. Yo, it's crazy what Glockaware and Took and them has done.
Black on everything, yo.
Absolutely.
And it's another one of those examples of black people sticking together. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen him show a lot of our people. Like patience, real patience. I ain't been here that long, but damn, it's about to be 2 years though. Like March will be 2 years that I've been doing this and I've been a part of this family. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen him show people a lot of patience, a lot. Something that we say exactly. Something we don't. Something we act like we don't do with each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times,
highlighted.
Right. And a lot of times it be that generational thing because Took ain't out there a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of cats running around here that's like 20 and 30. And they be doing their ones and twos. And it's a safe space, yo. It's a safe space from day one when I came in this joint. One of the things that I really, really appreciate is like everybody just seemed like they was chilling. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers in here chilling hard as shit. I'm like, okay, like I like to chill. You know what I'm saying? And I never came in here and the energy was other than that. At least not for me and not that I ever seen. You feel what I'm saying? And not from anybody I talk to that be in this joint. Like, so what is going on with you and Sammy? What's going on here?
Nothing. So we've been filming. We just filmed actually with Matt like a week ago.
I'm not saying it like something's going on.
Oh.
You know. We don't do all that on here. Like I don't want to know. I don't. Listen, I was on Loudmouth podcast.
Yeah,
my baby.
shout out to my sis.
And when I came in there, I was like, I'm so glad Paulie walked in here because I didn't know what was going. I didn't know if something was going on or not.
Yeah.
So I wasn't gonna say nothing about it. But once she walked in, I was just like, I'm so happy she came in this joint.
Right.
We don't do that. Like,
that's another thing I was about to say about
we don't do that.
It's just all been all love. Regardless, for me, it's always been like a home situation. So for me, just personally, like I had a loss in the family, which, thank you. But I have young boys, so it's hard for me to do a lot of other things. Like I gotta make sure my boys is, being taken care of at their Cub Scouts meeting, at their basketball game, at their tutoring session, or so it's a little bit more challenging for me to do a lot of the things that I was doing maybe say a year ago. But it's all still love with me, and when I can come through, I do come through, and I'm still a part of the family. But Sipping with Sam is still going. We almost about to do our 200th episode, so we working on that.
I'm trying to come back on, man. He inspired me when I came and I seen how he had everything set up at the crib, yo.
We'd love to have you back on.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, that was a shameless John. And she said exactly what I wanted her to say. Like, you could definitely come back.
No, for sure. Because, you know, for me, I'm a person about information. Again, one of my
Right.
taglines is helping through information. So everything I do is about being informative, a resource. That's my ambition. That's what I'm doing. I'm walking in life and being a walking resource. And I know that you're full of information as well, too. So just like I'm on your show, I would love to, you know, have you on our show so you can give our viewers what they need to hear from you.
Nah, definitely.
your perspective.
Because I'm still doing one of the things that I haven't been talking about a lot, but I'm still on the parting board. I'm in the process of putting my own part in. I still have a strong relationship with Philadelphia Lawyers for Social Equity. We still doing expungements. You can still get with me about that. I'm definitely in the process of trying to get somebody coming to the center regularly to do that, or like have clinics at the center or something like that for people who need expungements, for people who need to help their folks out with commutations. And then the parting piece, like our board is trying to make it quicker. Like, why does it have to take 3 years? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't it take a year? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Why not?
Right.
Why? Who says that this process can't be sped up? You know, especially once y'all took everything virtual.
Right.
That put out a lot of the lies that people was telling you about the process, yo. In a lot of different systems and organizations, this virtual thing, this is from home, and you could just get it done like that. It's like, yo, why y'all had us coming in here and doing all this and making shit take 6 months that really was taking 6 weeks once we start doing it virtually? You know what I'm saying? Like holding people up for no reason. Like, it's crazy. Like, I got to see the fallacy of the process with that virtual thing. You know what I'm saying? On some real. And some processes, it made it a little bit more difficult, but I seen too much of this without people coming in the office and making appointments and all that, and shit was just happening, you know? So, and Rashida definitely, when I came home, I think I definitely said it to my daughter, like, I don't know if this is anecdotal, but remember I was telling you, like, I'm seeing a lot more dads with their children, like walking around, taking them to school, stuff like, it's something that just stood out to me when I came home. You know, of course, I couldn't crunch the numbers, but I just noticed I was seeing it more. And then when I talked to Dr. Wilson, and he said, well, if you actually look at the numbers, dads are more involved. You know, I don't know if we was at 15% and it only went up to 30. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I know he's a PhD. He researches these type of things. He reads these type of things. So I took it on his face. He's a doctor. Black man from around my neighborhood, yo, doing all the same shit I was doing. He's a fucking PhD. So he allowed me to know, like, that's one of those lies that's still kind of being held up. That's not actually true statistically or anecdotally, because you see it.
That's what I was about to say. So statistics is one thing, but you saw your own proof with your own eyes. So that was a whole nother part of the story and the experience that actually validates it more than, for me, any statistic can. So
what does 200 episodes feel like? Like, I came in on Loudmouth Podcast. They was on the 100th episode, and that was so dope for me, because that was one of the people that allowed me to speak on these microphones first and feel comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? But what does 200 episodes feel like?
It feels good because, you know, to me, 200 episodes means speaking to so many people. It hasn't been very many repeats, so just about 200. And then there's always more than one person, typically more than one person on each episode. So to me, it just shows the different industries and different information that I've learned and resources that I've made and connections that I've made. So that's the biggest thing for me is learning. I love to learn literally every day. I really hope that I learn more than one thing new every day.
And I ain't gonna lie, when I came on there, we was having some technical difficulties because of the weather, right? So we in there drinking. So by the time the interview started, I was on. Like, what? What you want to talk about? We could
Yes.
I gotta go back and look at that joint, because that joint was dope. We did a whole interview before we got to the interview.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's a part of what the show is about. Like, you know, you take a couple drinks, and then we get a little loose, and then you know how they say, you know, you speak a true mind. You know how they say it, like when you drink, what is it?
What is it? Drunk mind speak a sober tongue? Or
yeah, it's something like that, but it's something about the truth serum in it. Like once you get
a drunk tongue speaks a sober mind.
Right. And you start talking about stuff that you've been having inside, and you with the person right there, and it's like, you know what? I never really liked you, and you start crying and
you
all
know,
that
it never
shit.
gets to that though. We always know, because I always try to make sure it's like love and light.
Right,
and all that.
right.
So No,
usually it's
never
be
got
somebody
there.
exposing how much they really fuck with you, and they been scared to say it. You know what I mean? And now y'all in this space and y'all both lit, and it's
Or you're
like,
exposing something about yourself.
you.
Typically, people expose things about themselves a lot on the show.
Right.
That's interesting.
No, that's a real thing. But we had a dope conversation, and it was like, it just flowed. And I definitely want to be back on. I ain't seen a brother in a while. I definitely got to get when I start up here on a Friday or something, like pull up on him or something, man. But I seen him on Instagram. You know, we see each other on Instagram and everything. And I definitely respect a lot of what y'all do, man, because conversation to me is everything.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And if you can get a dope conversation to put you on so much, when you talk about information, and I like to tell people about being information warriors, you always got to seek it out. And one of the dopest ways, and I feel like, and I people have said this, I've read it, where it's like the easiest way to educate, you know what I'm saying, is by conversation, like having a conversation with somebody and having that back and forth. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So it was just so in regards to, you were just saying, I think you were saying the school district, they have young women that were in that position that were like community.
They call community navigators, and when the school locates or identifies somebody that's housing insecure, they, through Eddie's House, become a case manager and actively help the child, the family, find stable housing, you know, until they can find like their own thing. And when I say stable housing, you can talk about a shelter, emergency housing, maybe even staying with somebody until they can, and then we go through the process of helping them find their own thing.
No, the point I was saying there was that I think that was actually a good move also, because someone in that age that's qualified for that position, excuse me, will be able to relate to the student, I think, a little bit more than somebody that's my age or even older. A lot of those times in the school district, they over 40 and 50 years old that's working in this position. So I just think, again, just being able to speak to the youth and being relatable, I think that was a good move.
She's always ahead like that. Like you know how I hope we all get to that point where you get to it, you know, when it becomes salient to you, it becomes clear to you, like, I should be doing this, you know, and I'm big on, don't take it to the grave clenched in your hands, you know, whatever it is, because we do a lot of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it'd be so hard. And I understand it now more than I did before. It's so hard to get whatever you're clenching. It's like, nah, I'm not letting nobody mess this up. And then you go away with it, you know, but now it didn't benefit that next generation the way that it was supposed to, because you held on to it. And she says it a lot, like, yo, I've been through all of these chambers in my life. Like, she graduated from Penn. Like, she did a lot of stuff, though. She's a very, very intelligent woman. And it's like, nah, I got to give this out, because I ain't going to be able to take this with me. I built Eddie's House, and now I can say, yeah, I built Eddie's House. But then if you don't got no young folks to pass it, then when I first met her, that's what she said. I'm trying to retire, and I'm trying to find sturdy people to take over these entities that I have so it can keep being a legacy. You know what I mean?
And that goes again to the importance of planning, too. I think that's why a lot of things, like, we had a lot of staples in our communities, but unfortunately, we didn't have the pillars to pass it down to.
Right.
And so I think that goes hand in hand with a lot of things. There was one thing I wanted to say, though, because a lot of people might have heard the statement that the rich get rich off of, like, say, life insurance and real estate. But I think that's how we got poor, too, by not effectively
utilizing that stuff.
Exactly, our real estate or even getting life insurance.
Right.
You know, that was something that really wasn't spoken about in our community until very recently.
And I gotta be honest, I don't have mine yet.
Yeah.
But February 1st, I'm going to be signing on to my insurance. As a part of that insurance, I have a life insurance plan that comes with that.
Nice.
I wanted to stay being a 1099, but because of those two benefits, I chose not to be a 1099. But shout out to Miss Marion, because she put me on something that ain't none of y'all business. Don't even worry about it. Some of my money, for whatever reason.
That's the problem. They should be knowing what it is.
No, that's my personal business.
He holding like this when he said.
All right.
No, it's your personal business.
No, I'm gonna tell y'all. So, and I'm gonna tell it because she came to me and was like, I was thinking about you in this way, and I think it would be better if you do what I'm signing on to is a new position. So I'm already the director of the drop-in center, and then I'm going to be the supervisor of the Credible Messengers. So I'll get my salary from Credible Messenger, and then I can stay at 1099 working with Eddie's House. And I didn't think that was going to be possible. Like, I thought I was going to have to do everything under salary. And she was like, no.
Keep sending me a personal business to yourself.
No. This is another thing. Like, I'm we're very secretive about money, and
We
it doesn't
are, but you
help.
gotta think that you're on YouTube right now, and
No, that's cool.
your personal stuff. I'll talk to you off camera.
All right, hit
about
me
some
up.
things
So
that
let
I'm
me
not
know.
willing to disclose on
I got
camera.
you.
But I understand about in regards to disclosing information.
Right.
You made things work that you didn't think was able to work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the fact that she was very transparent and thinking about me as my boss. Whereas though usually it's like the boss is only worrying about themselves. How do these people work for them to benefit them? Whether it's their independent business or they're working for a company, and you being working at your top gives them kudos. And I'm trying to work you so hard or work you so efficiently without paying you. So one, either I could keep the money or my higher ups can be like, oh, he's the guy or she's the person because look how she's managing this thing. And it wasn't like that. And that's another reason why I want, but I know what you talk about. But we still can talk because you can put me on something that I probably wasn't thinking about at the time. And the other thing is like, as a people, like we're so secretive about those type of things, and it hurts us because I want my daughter to know, I know she probably understands those things already, but I want her to know like, this is how my situation is set up and this is why it benefits me. And I do need life insurance. So I made that decision, and then, like I said, she was thinking about me as well and said, nah, you can have something for yourself. And then I got this over here so you can benefit in that way. And I think it's very layered in that story, like us being secretive, people who don't know that you can do both of those things. This elder looking out for me in that way when she didn't have to be transparent like that. She didn't have to think about me. She could have found the way to like squeeze it all in and not pay me and all of that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So
it just makes me think about so many things about the conversation that you just had, because you just said that this elder was looking out for you. She didn't have to, but I'm happy that she did. But a question you asked earlier in the session was, in the episode was, how these young folks get like this? Because you was talking about like how they scared, like why people saying they scared of young bucks and all that. I'm not scared. FYI, I didn't say, never heard that out of my mouth. I ain't never scared. Big Mike, no. But seriously, Killer Mike, whoever was, had to correct myself. But no, but seriously, so I think it's the lack of action like that as just one facet, because how we got here is again multifaceted. There's so many layers. But I fought the old heads, right? It's like people don't have, these young generation doesn't really have people to look up to pull them by the coat, by the collar, the coattail, whatever you want to say. Give them resources, give them in knowledge. Even when I was coming up and the hustlers was on the corner, like they didn't necessarily let you do too much. You know what I'm saying? Like they would guide you, like, no, young buck, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. To a certain extent.
Because I like being in that lifestyle too. That's one of the that was one of the things that kind of broke down the young boy old head relationship, because when I was selling coke, a lot of the old heads, because of greed, because of what they want, they would treat us fucked up. So it'd be like, you partying and all that, and I understand that it's a chain of command, but you trying to give me 25 off 100.
Right. So I'm even thinking before you get to that level, right?
Right.
So when you still going to the corner store and you about to steal out of there or whatever,
right.
You don't need to steal it. Let me give you this $5.
Definitely.
But if you already going to this, here, take this pack. Already,
and now you.
And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I'm just saying.
I got you.
But it's also that's a messed up old head too. I'm not saying that's right.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, it's the lack of.
It's like it's vanished. There's no connection. I feel like there's no connection now.
Like when our parents was growing up, they couldn't do nothing because they next door neighbor was going to beat them.
Yeah.
And then my generation, it got a little looser.
Right.
And then the generation after me, it just is like,
it's exactly opposite. If you say something, you're getting killed.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Even that belief, because that's real. I do have young women who have told me, mind your fucking business. You know what I mean? And young boys like, oh, hey, either we gonna do it here or we gonna do it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So it is some of that, but yo, a majority of the young people that I run into, they be like, you sit here and talk to us and nobody is talking to us, for real. Right. Like either from fear or just from having that attitude of, they ain't gonna listen.
I even see that for kids younger than me. Like if I'm talking to like my little cousins or whoever, like the women older than me don't talk to them. Like they talk to them like you're inferior a little bit. It's like, you follow what I say, don't do what I do. Like,
right.
And we don't have no conversation outside of that.
And that's something that broke it down too. Because at one point, do as I say, not as I do, it was a lot of other structures around that can keep the line of communication there, even though we knew it was faulty. But then when the next generation come around and those structures that was there, whether it be the church, whether it be some type of group your mom was in, because, you know, they used to have clubs and all that. Like, a lot of those cabarets that they was going to, that was a group of women and men who would do this. The ski trip. I don't hear nobody talking about ski trips no more. Right? But that, you know what I'm saying? But that was a group of black women, 9 times out of 10, they go to the same church and from the same neighborhood, and they was like, all right, we gonna sell dinners, we gonna do the ski trip, we gonna have a cabaret. You know, that's the prime for all that's the old prime. But yo, when I was a young boy, I so wanted to go to it. My mom and them used to go to these joints so much, and everybody used to be dressed up and taking pictures. And as a young boy, I was like, I can't wait to go to a cabaret.
Yeah, and then you got there, you was like,
hold up, I gotta put something on this right here. And then, but when we came up, it was house parties.
I gotta have my cups and my plates and my ice.
That's a crazy thing too. Like, what did they have next? Like, my mom and them really did cabarets, and they had a lot of house parties. Like, they had a lot of cookouts and all that. And then my generation, we had a lot of house parties. We ain't do as much cookout as we probably should have. And then the next generation is like, they can't go to the house party. That joint over. Nobody cooks out. And then we even talk about on the other show, like, this generation, what's up with the family reunion? Like, nobody
I was just thinking about that.
What happened? Because
I'm a part of this generation.
Yeah, express that to me. I'm not putting no blame.
Because the old heads was always doing the family reunion.
And I feel like they just fell back. And they left it to...
It's not y'all's fault.
Yeah, I feel
they left it to you too soon?
It's not your generation. It's the generation right before you. Right. The 50, 60. I feel like they don't gotta be like my mom was. Like, they don't feel like they gotta throw a family reunion. It's up to everybody family to do it now.
I agree with that. But I know my grandma and my great aunts, they definitely told me and my cousins,
a family reunion,
it's up to y'all. Like, y'all gotta do it now. They didn't skip their kids. They just went straight to the grandkids and was like, listen, y'all gotta do it now.
And it's like, I'm 25. How am I?
Why do
I don't even know all these people?
Because they started doing it when they was 25. So they like, look, y'all too old.
They was raised down south with 50 cousins.
Right. Everybody lives in the same. Yo, you know what? That's a crazy thing, because my mom was closer to South Carolina, like actually living there, and then moving to the city. So now going back and forth is not really a thing to her, because she actually lived there at a time of her life. Yeah. Now me, I get that, but I lived in Philly the whole time. But she made it so that South Carolina was a thing that I liked to do. So even though I was locked up the first 20 years of her life, my daughter's life that's sitting right here, it still wouldn't have been a thing necessarily, because my roots is kind of like in Philly. Right. So it's like, I want to go down south, but I don't feel that urge like my mom did, because she actually lived down there. Right, so now when it get to my daughter, it's kind of like, I'm like twice removed from South Carolina, so the connection there is not. And
it's not a lot of cousins my age. Right. Everybody is my grandmom age down here. It's
right. Like, yo, and that I didn't think about that when we was talking about the family. I didn't think about that when we was talking about the family reunion on the last show, and the importance of, like, how far removed we are from the place where the family reunion originated for that family.
Because usually everybody went down south, but now people is going to, like, Orlando. Like, who?
Like, what are we? Yeah, they
you kind of lose the sense of family when you do that, because you've introduced so many other things.
Yeah, it's in the family backyard, like the family.
So this ain't y'all fault.
Backyard.
This ain't y'all fault.
No, this not.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
Because I feel like grandma should have facilitated a little bit better, though.
I do. I think that I want to probably do that this summer. Like, I'm gonna be, blessings. I'm gonna be in a lot of places. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be able to do a lot of things. I'm being blessed with a lot of resources and a lot of people that got love for me and are willing to follow me to a certain extent. You know what I mean? And I do think I want to. I don't think I know. We need, and I don't even deal with a lot of you motherfuckers anymore. But we need to come together. Now hold up.
Right back to the whole beginning of the show, the first comment.
Once it came out my mouth, now that becomes a thing. Like, is it that we don't deal with our family like that, or the secrets that we didn't talk about in our family that kept us going around family members that we probably didn't want to go around, and we held that tight, and now that boundaries become a thing. now that triggers and trauma is something that
have
spoke of. Right.
Post-slavery. Like, a lot of us wasn't that educated to even talk about that. Like, we was just trying to get into society.
Right.
Right. And
now,
part
of that was all of us being together.
Right. Go ahead. What you about to say? My bad.
Because I was about to open up a whole nother can of worms.
No, that's cool.
But it's because this is a whole nother topic, man. It's a whole nother topic. But I feel like, so I was raised, and I know I know you, and I can tell by your manners that you were raised well. But I was raised to say thank you and please and all of that, right? And I think a lot of Black people were, but I think it's from hundreds of years of please, sir, yes, ma'am, yes. Like, so when I get around, so I feel like sometimes a lot of white people are so ignorant. Like, they don't say thank you when you hold the door. They don't, and I just be like, sometimes I just try to. I told you it's a whole nother topic, so I didn't want to open this can of worms right now. But I just be trying to think about, again, the impact and the effect of so many years of people's behaviors and what they experience. Because even in professional settings, I just had some conversations that I really didn't feel like I needed to have because of that. And it's like, I carry myself well. I could tear you a new one too without even cussing you out. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, why do I have to
We know about that. We know about that. We live that life.
I'm sure y'all do. I'm sure
we know that life.
I wouldn't think that y'all don't.
Right.
But that's what I'm just explaining. No. It's like it's crazy because we just hold ourselves to a certain caliber, but it's like it's not necessarily reciprocated all the time, or not even reciprocated. I don't even think it's like a not even expectation. I don't think it's not a part of. I don't know.
It's not their culture to think about other people. It's ours to be empathetic, though. Yes. Like, that's something as Black people, like, we always have to apologize. Like, I hate the fact that I see stuff and I be like, why is she apologizing to them? Like, why is she saying sorry for being wrong? Like, that don't.
Listen, I have a situation. We're going to do a restorative justice circle. I moved a white lady and her husband, and they weren't very honest about how things transpired, and then they came back to the people who connected us, which was through like my restorative justice circle. One of the pastors, the white lady goes to the church. She asks, could she find somebody to move her? She wanted to support small businesses, which for me, she said it so many times, it was like code for Black business. And I'm gonna say all of this in the restorative justice circle, so it is what it is. And you know, a brother of mine came. We were supposed to do the circle. We didn't have an opportunity because I was busy. I wasn't ducking it. You know, I didn't feel no type of way like that because I know how to express myself. And one thing that I will not do is apologize for something I didn't do. And he asked me that. He said, well, you know, you could just come on and apologize and it will all go through. And I said, yo, in my head, like, this is the thing about my life right now. A lot of things that I was upstate reading about, like people in different spaces, entertainers, business people, in those moments where they get to be gatekeepers and they shit on us, and you know, people who talk about what you talk about and talk about how you could lose your mind being in these spaces, having to deal with that, or you know, just to go along to get to the next stage, you apologize for shit that you didn't do. And it was like, damn, that's crazy that I'm standing in here and this is one of those moments. Because if I agree to get in front of these people and say, yo, I apologize for something I know I didn't do, I'm never going to be the same again. Me personally, without anybody knowing. Right. Without anybody knowing the things that I know and how I grind people to fuck up. Like, she'll tell you, like, it's like people be telling me, they be like, you don't like nobody. You be looking at entertainers and actors and politicians, Black, and you be grinding a bitch. You don't like nobody. And it ain't that I don't like nobody. It's like, yo, how you saying? We need to hold ourselves to a higher standard, not for them, for us, so that I'm having this conversation. So when my daughter in that space, she ain't feeling like she got to apologize. She like, no, I didn't do anything. And I'm going to let y'all know I didn't do anything. And I'm going to explain what you did in a way, because I'm not going to let my emotions get the best of me. I know how to use my words and my language, and you're not going to play with me like this. And we don't do that enough. And that's like empowering. Like after I told him, I'm like, no, brother, I'm not apologizing for nothing. What's wrong? He was like, well, I said, listen, man, my name, all I got, bro. And that lady disrespected my name by lying. And she didn't keep it real. And the whole time she was trying to swindle me out of money, trying to cut corners and not pay what the real service was. And I allowed it. I'm gonna go as far as saying the lady called me boy at one point in the conversation. No, I'm dead ass serious. We was talking, And she said, boy, and I laughed. I looked at Carlita and I laughed. And Carlita was like, yo, this is crazy. Then my brother, Zubair, you know, we smart motherfuckers. And we like telling people that because we did the work to be smart motherfuckers. So he telling her about books and shit like that, right? And getting into crazy conversation with her. She college educated. She do research. She don't know none of the people he talking about till he say something about a white man like Howard Zinn. She was like, Howard Zinn, Noam Chomsky. Yeah. That's because you know about these white men. She was like, you should go to college. So he instantly was like, what would make you think I didn't? Because you only know one thing about me. It's a black man standing in front of you talking about some intelligent stuff. What would make you think that I didn't?
Trust me.
You understand what I'm saying?
Let me tell you.
You feel me?
I'm not gonna hold you too long. I just had a whole episode with a whole woman, and she tried to call me out on. So I had to let her know, ma'am, I'm MBA.
Let them know, yo.
With 10 years experience. She said, you should remember this from college last year. I said, ma'am, I graduated college. And I don't never tell my age, but I said, ma'am, I graduated college 20 years ago. She said, I thought you were 25. Yes, that don't give you the right.
Y'all never know.
That wouldn't give you the right to talk to me like this. Is you crazy? Like, what's wrong with you? So I had to let her know. Like, let me enlighten you.
Exactly.
Like,
so and that's one of them things. That's why I know my sister Nick. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my family executive producer Mal. That's why I always say she a master. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter what you feel about the American school system, listen, especially for us, like all the stuff that you gotta go through just because of how you look to get to this state, no matter what you think about what you're learning along the way or how they trying to teach you, it's like, do you know, it's the reason why, like the Supreme Court, I'm not a fan of this lady, but no, seriously, I'm not a fan of her. But what I will say is she's a fucking genius because you can't get to that point going through the shit that we go through without it. Like that level of intelligence. Now, is it benefiting her and her people? No. But just being in a silo of education and then you got to deal with all of this racism and sexism, you still make it to be Supreme Court? You still make it to be somebody that they think because you so intelligent, we could use you to twist and turn these racial things about your people and yourself. And yo, even though I don't agree with her, it takes intelligence to get, like, the lady is a genius, yo. Like, how did you get that far?
Therapy.
You know what I'm saying?
Because there's no way you getting that. No.
You said therapy?
Yes. You losing parts of yourself every
day.
Every new promotion, every Supreme Court justice. You ain't even a black lady no more at that point. Clarence Thomas.
So? Well, he was he is by no way. You can.
But that's my daughter right there, yo.
But you married to a white man. I feel like you are now an influence to black women, and now you saying for you to reach this level, you have to date. You got to marry a white man because it's no way you navigate in society without this person on your arm.
I feel like it's like the trickle effect. It's like at first you couldn't get in the door at all, so now your pass is to have somebody of another race. So I feel like we getting there. Well, actually, we had President Obama. Excuse me, we had the best.
No, and he was black. She would say Obama. She was both black.
Hold up, saying that was a door. That was both black.
She would say Obama at 6 o'clock.
I'm a reporter. But what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that they were both black. That was an example of two black people. Super intelligent. I'm just saying two black people. That was an example. We just had a conversation. There was
dark-skinned black woman.
So we're moving forward.
That was a part of the game, though. Like you not gonna see that too many other places. That was a part of the game. Like people like me, the only thing that I held on to with Obama because I never believed him. But the only thing that made me almost rejoice is I said, damn, he at this level and got a dark-skinned black woman? We don't do that. But then I understand politics and how games is played and psychology and how images is a thing. And then I start reading about her and it's like, man.
It could be a game and I'm not going to hold you too long. But guess what? It was the game that some people couldn't stand. I'm just saying.
No doubt.
I'm just saying.
No doubt. And that's why we got Trump. They let him right. They ushered him right on there. I like Trump, though. I like Trump. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what he did?
You gotta go deeper when you see stuff like that. You can't.
I'm a woman, so I'm a little offended by some of the things.
No. Listen. For me, the reason why I like Trump, it ain't nothing about policy or nothing. Black folk need people to allow them to know this shit is not for you. Stop acting like it is. Obama made us believe that it might be still for us. No. Trump came right in, showed you all of the people, the systems, everything. He showed you everything. We don't fuck with y'all.
True.
That's what Trump telling you every day. That's why I say that I like Trump, because I know that my people need to see death at the front door to operate the way they're supposed to operate. I hate that it's like that, but it is. We have to be moved to it, because if not, you get Obama and we get rocked to sleep. And we start thinking that this shit more for us than it is, and that shit don't necessarily have to change that much. And if we just do a little bit more of this, we can get no. So it's past 6. This is one of those ways that my brother always showed me a lot of patience, because I talk a lot. I'm sorry, I talk a lot. You definitely got to come back on.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of times, I would love to see a situation where it's like you have some stuff to report on, and you just pull up on Tuesday like, listen, this is what's going on. I need to tell you all about it. And you will always get the microphone.
We have to plan that.
POC too. I want black reporters that's in our neighborhoods that report on our stories properly. If you watch this show and you have something to report on, and I want, please be professional. And I'm saying that because everybody kind of think that they reporters because of blogs and Instagram and your phone.
Thank you for saying that, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would appreciate people, because I know you can teach yourself with stuff too. So I'm not discrediting that, but I'm just saying,
yeah, but people
when you
lose
come
the facts
through,
when they do that,
right?
man.
Just
They don't
please
even know
be
how to look for a source.
Right. So what I ask, and I'm putting that out, and I'm putting that out there for all my fam. Like, yo, any reporters, black reporters, male, female, it doesn't matter. If you got something sturdy to report on, Tuesday, 5 p.m., Glockaware Radio, pull up. I will definitely give you the microphone, and we can get busy. You know what I'm saying? So
I like that. That's nice.
Do you have anything before we close out? And
you can find On the Scene Magazine,
OnTheSceneMagazine.com.
OTS Notary, On the Scene Notary. Again, we're helping through information. You can find me, SunnyBrick, on Instagram as well.
And what's the other show you on?
Sipping with Sammy,
Okay.
co-host.
Shout out to my brother.
All platforms. Shout out to my bro Sam.
Do you wanna close out? Do you wanna say anything? Is there anything you wanna say? Let the people
Protect
know.
black women.
Yes.
Oh. Can you show them your arm too? Let them know what that say. I love that conversation.
You can't even see it.
You can't see it, but what it says is
God is a black woman.
Yes.
Now take that how y'all want.
I love her.
Get busy with that. Yo, this is PSA Philly Service Announcement. Takeover Tuesday, Takeover Love, Support, Grace, Social Activism, Resources, and Art. Shout out to Sipping with Sammy for that little thing that I just did, because I peeped him, I learned him. He said something about it. You gotta have your thing when you doing your thing, and you know, good looking, bro. We out.